that is common to all religions. From the time you were a child, you have heard of this. It's the Golden Rule. The Golden Rule has been around for ages. It's a very, very old idea. In fact, the Persian religious teacher Zoroaster of Babylonia, which is now Iran and Iraq, defined one of the earliest examples of the Golden Rule. Whatever is disagreeable to yourself, do not unto others. This was 2,600 years ago, before the founding of Christianity, by the way. A century later, 2,500 years ago, we have the Hindu Golden Rule. This is the sum of duty. Do not unto others which would cause you pain if done unto you. In the same century, the Buddhist Golden Rule. Hurt not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. Once again, in the same century, we have the Confucian Golden Rule. Is there one maxim which ought to be acted upon throughout one's whole life? Surely it is the maxim of loving kindness. Do not unto others what you would not have them do unto you. Again, in the same century, which is 25 centuries ago, Lao Tzu gave us the Taoist Golden Rule. Regard your neighbor's gain as your own gain, and your neighbor's loss as your own loss. Now, 5 centuries later, is one of the most famous leaders in Jewish history, Palestinian Rabbi Hillel, gave us the Judaic Golden Rule. What is hateful to you, do not to your fellow men. That is the entire law. The rest is commentary. I love that one. Hillel says, here is the entire rule of behavior in one sentence. The entire law, which is, and what he meant is the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Old Testament, is merely commentary on how to apply the Judaic Golden Rule, which says what is hateful to you, do not to your fellow men. Nearly a century later, we have the Christian Golden Rule. So in everything, do unto others what you would have them do unto you, for this sums up the law and the prophets. And 12 centuries after the Christian Golden Rule, we have the Islamic Golden Rule. No one of you is a believer until he desires for his brother that which he desires for himself. Now, the ancient Golden Rules, as an overarching code of ethics for all humans, share a common theme. They directly discourage win-lose behavior, thereby indirectly encouraging win-win behavior. Due to its priceless social value, this rule is truly golden. Now, to go beyond the general acceptance of the Golden Rule towards the practice of the Golden Rule, an ironclad case must be made for its universal equity, utility, and morality. To begin an effective and lasting trend away from the miseries of war, poverty, and servitude, towards the blessings of peace, prosperity, and freedom, the overwhelming benefits of the Golden Rule must be revealed without compromise. And especially it must be shown to respected people with good minds and education. And the reason is these people wield the greatest social influence over our society. All of these key golden rules can be generalized as one central rule for human behavior, regardless of one's ethnicity, culture, or gender. Here is a precise definition of Snelson's Golden Rule principle. Do not seize wealth and freedom from others, as you would not have them not seize, as you would have them not seize your wealth and freedom. Do not seize wealth and freedom from others, as you would have them not seize your wealth and freedom. The seizure of wealth and freedom involves involuntary exchange, which is win-lose exchange. The golden rule principle demands avoidance of win-lose exchange in all human affairs. If you avoid win-lose exchange, then what's left? The only other human action available is win-win exchange. Win-win exchange is the act of gaining through the gain of others without gaining through their loss by force or fraud. Wherever there is win-win exchange, the social effects can be predicted by win-win theory through the operation of the principle of win-win exchange. Win-win exchange creates wealth, expands freedom, and establishes peace. The principle of win-win exchange is a scientific prediction from win-win theory. Like all scientific predictions over time, either the prediction will come true or it won't. If the prediction can be observed by various independent observers to come true, we call that scientific verification. On the other hand, if the prediction can be observed by various independent observers to not come true, then that's called scientific falsification. We can observe that win-win exchange is the cause of peace because it is a peaceful exchange, which is a free exchange. As the creation of win-win exchange rises, so the creation of peace will rise. Peace is a byproduct of win-win exchange. Moreover, we can observe that win-win exchange is the cause of prosperity because it is the prime creator of new wealth. As the creation of win-win exchanges, so the creation of prosperity rises. Therefore, prosperity is a byproduct of win-win exchange. Furthermore, observation reveals that win-win exchange is the cause of freedom because it is a mutually voluntary exchange. So as the creation of win-win exchange rises, so the creation of human freedom rises. Freedom is also a byproduct of win-win exchange. Now we can verify through observation that the greatest human gains flow from the win-win domino effects of creating peace, prosperity, and freedom for all to enjoy, which includes every religious believer as well as non-believers. These, therefore, a posteriori conclusions are reached by observing the operation of the principle of win-win exchange. Here it is again. Win-win exchange creates wealth, expands freedom, and establishes peace. Its operation as a principle of social action can be seen by anyone that's willing to look. It's a key principle for revealing which social causes lead to which social effects. Golden rule principle, once again, do not seize wealth and freedom from others, as you would have them not seize your wealth and freedom. The practice of this principle does not allow for win-lose exchange. As I emphasized, the only other principle to follow is the principle of win-win exchange. Win-win exchange creates wealth, expands freedom, and establishes peace. Now, to gain a deeper understanding on how we can optimize the causes of peace, prosperity, and freedom, it's necessary to understand what optimizes the causes of war, poverty, and servitude. Now, this leads to the question, is there a generalization that be contrary to the principle of win-win exchange? Indeed, there is an opposing principle. You can probably guess what it is, the principle of win-lose exchange. Win-lose exchange seizes wealth, expands servitude, and fosters war. Institutionalizing win-lose seizure of wealth for religious or political gain advances poverty by decreasing productivity and increasing the scarcity